And that's how it's done, buddy. You've probably seen a lot of these clips around, but I haven't found a single very precise guide that shows you how to get all of the combo pieces, and you can do this as soon as you defeat Godric. I'm not even kidding. All you need is access to Liurnia of the Lake, and I'm gonna show you exactly how. There is a backdoor entrance from there to the Altus Plateau. Now, it is going to be somewhat hard. You are going to need to beat 2 bosses, one of which you can cheese from horseback riding, so it's not really going to be that hard. But the other one you are going to need to beat yourself. It's the only way to advance, but he is not that hard to defeat. So to make this build work, you're going to need a few combo pieces. First off, obviously, is going to be the sorcery Comet Azur, and I'm going to show you exactly where to get it from Liurnia of the Lake after defeating Godric. The next combo pieces you're going to need is a Flask of Wondrous Spirit. Now, there are 2 elements to that flask, and I'm going to show you where to get both. Essentially, there's one of them that raises your intelligence by 7 points, which is going to be really useful to equip Comet Azur because it is a 60 intelligence spell. With my build, you only need to go to 50, and then the 7 from the flask and 3 from the helm that I showed you in one other guide, so I suggest going to see all of my previous guide before this one. The last one is the one that makes it so your FP doesn't go down, obviously, and this is going to be the hardest one to get, but you can choose the boss that drops it, so it's really important. I'm going to show you every step of the way. So let's get started, right? So the first actual step in this journey is going to be to go to the Third Church of Murica. It is located right here in Limgrave, kind of to the west. And when you get there, there are going to be a few items around here, and it's going to unlock you the Flask of Wondrous Physique. It's also going to allow you to use one of the flask effects, which is going to be very important for us because we want to do it first. It's going to be Intelligent Not Crystal Tiered, which is temporarily going to be boost your intelligence. That means I think it is by 7, and this is very important. One of the biggest reasons I'm actually making this guide is because to get to all of those good combo pieces, you kind of need to get to the Altus Plateau, which is here. However, to get there from Liurnia of the Lake, what I thought was the best way to go is actually the Grand Lift of Dectus. But when you're gonna get there, you're gonna figure out that you can't actually activate it. I'm still unsure how to activate it, and I've defeated Radahn. I'm sure there's a way. However, there is a second way, a backdoor entrance to the Altus Plateau that you can use from any point of the game after you defeated Godric. All you need is access to Liurnia of the Lake. There is no other requirement. Obviously, it's going to be pretty hard, and you're going to need to beat 2 bosses to get to the full combo pieces, but it's very worth it. So let's get on. To get the Comet Azur, you're going to need to start by going to the most north point in Liurnia of the Lake. Now, you're going to need to go through the river, and you're going to see a bunch of giant poisonous slug. That means you're on your way. You're going to find this little shack with a ladder going up, and this is the beginning of your journey. Now, this is all uncharted territory, and this was pretty hard to do the first time. You can skip most of the enemies and bosses. The only thing you're going to need to fight for sure is going to be 2 bosses, one of which you can cheese. The other one of which you can just kill. He's not that hard. He's really not that hard. So you're going to try to avoid the enemies around here. They are pretty nasty, but you can just run through, honestly. And this is going to be the case for most of the enemies around. You might want to send back the elevator down if you think you're going to die, just because it's going to make it a lot easier. So as I said, just skip literally everything. You don't need to kill anybody so far. And you're gonna get through a new place. Now, you're not underground anymore. You're gonna fight bats and whatnot. Now, those I suggest you kill a little bit. because they are going to overwhelm you at some point. If you're a sorcerer, which I'm assuming you are if you're watching this, they are pretty easy to take away from a distance. If you have enough int and good enough spells, you can allocate most of your flasks to the FP flask and just spam spells on them. This area has a lot of items, and if you want to clear it, it will be worth it if you want to clear every single enemy and search for items. There are quite a few weapon enhancement items and whatnot, but it's not that necessary. As you can see here, I kind of got caught by the enemies, but that's no biggie. And if you're poisoned, don't worry, there is a site of grace very nearby. You're only gonna need to fight 2 other packs of enemies from here to this. These enemies should be pretty easy to take out, even if you don't 2-shot them. You can 3-shot them with most weapon, I'm assuming. They are fairly weak even if you are right after Godric. I'm after Radon, so you know, I killed quite a few more bosses, but it's not the end of the world. Here you can see I forgot to send the elevator back, so I have to dance around. You really don't want that to happen. That's why I would suggest sending it back every time you can when you're at the top. Now, the elevator is here. I'm gonna go up, almost gonna die. And the site of grace is here. Now, here is where my footage got corrupted last time. And there is actually a boss in here. Now, I killed it already. You're gonna need to beat it, okay? There's no way around it. But it's not that hard. It's a magma worm. You can look up guides how to beat it if you're really struggling. But his attacks that aren't that bad, and you can probably kill him even if you don't do much damage. You're probably not gonna take much damage at all. He probably one-shots you by this point, but his attacks are all very predictable, and you can summon, so it's not that hard. And this is one of the only 2 bosses you're gonna need to fight, and this is the one you can't cheese. The other one you can definitely cheese, and I'm gonna show you how, because he can also one-shot you. But I digress. Now you're gonna get to the new area. This is the Altus Plateau, and this is where things get interesting. Because beforehand, the enemies weren't all that strong. But this is one of the final area of the game, from what I'm understanding. Well, at least the second part of the game. So you're gonna want to get on horseback, and this is very important, okay? After taking this grace, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to hug the right side, okay? Because there is a few bosses you're gonna want to run away from. The first one is an ancient dragon, and we're not even gonna look at him much, but you can skip most of it if you just hug the right side like I do and stay on horseback. You can see he's gonna fly by. Ancient Dragon Lanceax. It's no big deal because once you go through those trees, he despawns. And there's a site of grace to your right. Next up, you're gonna skip another Tibia Mariner. These are the bosses that give you the summons. I would fight him, but I probably get one-shot by him at this point, so I'm just gonna run past him, honestly. And you should too. There is a bunch of ruins. He is going to summon a huge skeleton, so don't be scared. The skeleton can be scary, and he's gonna follow you like everywhere. It's actually a nightmare because you cannot rest anywhere until you despawn it, but he legit follows you forever. So you're gonna fight a site of grace here, and he's gonna despawn, but sometimes he's not gonna let you take it. So forward onto the Fire Swamp. This is a weird area, and you're basically halfway through to the Comet Azur spell. At this point, if you're wondering, this is a really long track through hell. So you just run, literally just follow the direction. It's gonna like spin around the mountain a little bit, so you kind of want to always go forward, going to the leftmost path most of the time, because it's going to circle around the tower, and you're gonna find a few sites of grace here. There's another one that I took earlier. And from that point onward, it was kind of uncharted territories. Alright, it kind of was. So you're just gonna run around, try your best to dodge the enemies. You don't have to dodge all of them, but try your best, you know? There is going to be another magma worm here. It's basically like the same boss that you had to kill to get to here. But we're just gonna dodge him because this one, we actually don't need to kill him. So you can see me just exploring a little bit. It's kind of an uncharted territory for me as well. I think this was the first time I did past the fire swamp. So that's when I recorded it. So I am kind of screwed. We'll see if I know this site. Yeah, I didn't know this site. And we're gonna go back from the craftsman shack. I figured out where I needed to go. All is good in the world. And we're gonna keep going. Now, you're gonna see the Hermit Village, and you are almost to the Sorcerer. Okay, there is a boss right here. It's called the Demi-Human Queen Mage, and it's the boss you saw me kill in the intro. And we're just gonna rest at this side of Grace. And as you can see, the Sorcerer is right here. You can talk to him, he's not gonna say anything, and after a while, he's just gonna give you the Comet. So, we're back at it again. The next thing you're gonna want to take is the Hidden Cerulean Tear. Now, this is not that hard to get. You're gonna need to start from the Sorcerer Azur waypoint of Grace. And you're basically just gonna follow the way I'm taking. Now, this is really important. You can get lost super easily. I think I got lost like 3 or 5 times while recording this, which was kind of a mess, I'm gonna be honest. However, if you just follow this, if you have this guide on the side and just follow it pretty precisely, you're gonna be fine. There is an enemy here that I had to kill. You may not be able to, but it is what it is. And you're just gonna go up these ladder. Now there are a few ladders around here. You want to take the path with no enemies. There is a path with enemies and some items, and there's a path with no enemies. So I'm teaching you the path with no enemy, but you can do whatever you want. I think I just said enemies like 15 times in that sentence. So after you go up this ladder, you're gonna need to drop down from the area you're gonna get to and go across a big bridge. Okay, the way you know you're on the good ladder path is if you see a merchant that's like, yes, right this way, that we just passed, and we're just gonna keep going. After the bridge, there will be a waypoint, so you don't need to be too worried about this, and you can always mount up whenever. So like I said, here you are going to mount up. There are a few enemies here. Drop down and go across the bridge. Now you're gonna see a waypoint. Now the next thing is very, very important to be precise about and never stop. Okay, after this waypoint, you don't want to ever get off your horse for any reasons until the next waypoint, because you're gonna skip a boss. He doesn't spawn here, but he is there. Don't worry. You're gonna drop to this cliff, and I know this is very confusing. You're gonna drop down. You're gonna run towards the small tree. Now, I don't manage to get the golden tier because my game lagged, but you do want to get the golden seed. There are a bunch of hands hidden around here. Now, I thought this was the side of Grace, so I got off. I don't know why, but you don't want to get off at any point because, as you can see, the hands will chase you, and you want to get to this site right here. Now, I'm going to slow down the speed of the video because I'm going to show you how to cheese the next boss. So, as you go down, you will see an enemy here. I tried to deal damage to him, but he's really tanky for some reason. But he's not even going to attack you, like, pretty much. And if he does, he's just going to walk slowly to you. So, don't waste your FP. You're going to need it. I would recommend at least 4 to 5 flasks of cerulean tears. You are not going to take any damage from this boss if you cheese him correctly. The way to cheese him is basically to summon your skeletons that are going to respawn every time. And stay on your horse. That way, when you stay on your horse, he's never going to be able to catch you. And just spam Rock Sling at him. Why Rock Sling? Because Rock Sling does a lot of damage when it comes to the posture and the poise. That means he's gonna get down a lot. So you always want to be far from him and just cast Rock Sling to him. He is very big, and you can see he's gonna take like a few hundred damage a pop. Now, to cheese him, basically it's not you fight him on his own term, right? But you can be on horseback, and horseback casting, I consider it a cheese. It is very, very strong. probably the strongest thing in the game if you can do it, because you don't really get any movement penalty from casting. So he's gonna do a big explosion attack. That's the only thing that can actually hurt you. And you're gonna see the skeleton, like I did in my other guide, the skeletons that are just respawning are gonna save your life, because he's going to focus them with a few attacks every X amount of seconds. And that's really gonna buy you sometimes. Now you can see he just falls down super fast because of the rock sling, and yeah, that's basically all you need to do. You can see I did not get hit once, and neither should you. And if you have any trouble with this boss, just do it again. You know, you'll get it at some point. I think it took me 2 tries to get it perfectly. But yeah, when you are done with this boss fight, you are going to get the hidden cerulean tier. This is the tier that makes it so you don't need to have FP. That's gonna be it for this part of the guide. I'll see you guys in the next one. So to quickly go over the build, it's very, very simple. You're gonna need at the very least 50 intelligence, however. So as early as you wanted to get it, it's still going to take you quite a while to get there. However, once you get there, and you can see here my intelligence is only at 54. Whenever I equip this helmet, which you can get by yourself, I have a guide on it and it's going to be in the description below. Whenever you equip it, it's going to go up to 57. Now, if I drink my flask, you can see that I am now at 67. The flask is going to give you 10 intelligence, and that means you can then equip the Comet Azur and just blast it, buddy. Right? Now, as I mentioned earlier, once you have the Comet, you can equip it even without having the flask thing, and then you're gonna go to the Mixed Wondrous Physics, and you're gonna take the Cerulean Hidden Tier that you took from the 3 boss that you can cheese horseback, and the Intelligence Not Crystal Tier, which was the one you got at the beginning. So this one is gonna make it so you can actually use Comet Azur while not having 60 intelligence, and this one is going to make it so you don't use any FP while doing it. So it's not an infinite amount of time, right? Let's say you're gonna cast your summons, which by the way is on my guide for the Necromancer guide. If you want to check it, it's gonna be in the comment below as well. Whenever you drink it, you have about 10 seconds where you're gonna be able to just cast it like crazy, right? And that's a long time. And that is a very long time. I will post more of my clips of defeating bosses this way, but I really wanted to make this guide because I searched for like 5 hours on how to get all of these things. It's actually insane. The Altus Plateau is a very confusing area, let alone to get to it. So I hope this helped a few people. So I hope this helped a few people. If it helped you, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of the build. Let me know how you find it. Let me know if it makes the game too easy for you. And I'll see you guys next time for some more Elden Ring, where we will just one-shot bosses. Take care, guys.